care that it was an accident, because it does not make sense to me how someone can be murdered and somehow they get no time. Even if you accidentally kill somebody, you are still a murderer, especially when you plead guilty to felony murder. Marijuana will get you more time in jail than killing somebody, especially when it comes to a black man here in America, unfortunately.
Catch Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
There are many times I thought, I can't do this. I mean, what parent isn't worried about? What am I not doing right? What am I not doing enough? And then I realized, wait, that's being a parent.
Don't worry about being perfect. I've had around 3 other mother figures in my life, but only one of them has taught me how a mother loves.
The greatest reward for me is he makes me better every day.
I would tell a family considering adopting a teenager that teenager, whoever it is, needs you, and they need what you have to offer.
Taylor's giving me hope. He's our son, and that is what he will always be.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Listen to the home of the 5K Gruber Cash Giveaway. 101.7 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time! It's time! It's Beta time!
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth app, 101.7thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
Surprise! I am your cousin sub of the day, the legendary Home Blow, holding it down for Kyle Wallace on today and on tomorrow. So, yep, you're going to learn today. Rhea Riley, great afternoon. How are you doing and feeling today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm blessed. How was your weekend?
Not bad.
Okay, not bad.
How was yours?
It was great. I celebrated people who helped with the 31st annual Home Blow birthday party for the kids. Done my volunteer appreciation cookout that I do every year. So it was a great thing. A lot of people came out and they get to just enjoy themselves, compliments of me and Cheryl. So it's like food, everything you can think of. They didn't have to bring any. You know how you ask me, like, do I got to bring something? They're like, no, you ain't got to bring nothing. They didn't have to bring alcohol. They didn't have to bring anything but themselves. And it started at 7 p.m., and it always has no end time. This one ended at 4:45 a.m. The look on your face.
4:45 a.m.?
Correct.
I can't even stay up that late.
Yeah, it went till 4:45 a.m. And, you know, the thing with me is I don't drink, I don't smoke. So, you know what I'm saying? All of the things. So they do, but, you know, I don't. So it's never an issue for me. But the latest one that we had went till like 6:15 a.m.
Who are these people you're hanging out? I'm shocked by this. Wow.
You know, it's a safe space. People have fun. You know, you meet some of the people that, you know, you saw or you know to support and that support Home Blow. So it was great. It's always a great thing. Since you can't stay up that late, you know, whenever we do a celebration, I guess I won't be able to put you on the invite, huh?
I'll come for like the first 2 hours.
That's what everybody says. That's what they all say. And it's people that get there at 7:30, you know, as soon as we start, and they're there until, you know,
4 a.m.
Yeah, or at least 2. At least 2.
The next day.
Where did the time go? So yeah, that was a great thing. So again, Truth to Power on this afternoon. we've been hearing about the three people who lost their lives because of a reckless driver, and they were speeding. And when law enforcement turned on their lights to stop the speeding vehicle, they chose to continue to go doing 70 to 80 miles an hour. And I think that even when they caught law enforcement's attention, they were doing like 70. And so 3 people lost their life. 2 others were injured. And they originally charged Trevon Loston for, the act. But then he said, I wasn't driving. Yes, I was driving, but when the accident happened, when we went and picked up the 17-year-old girl, who we now know name is Dashauna C. Egerson, when he picked her up, she started driving. And so as soon as she pulled off, then it ended up creating that situation to whereas they ended up crashing. But so she was behind the wheel. This is what the new criminal complaint says. And it's also in the criminal complaint for Trevon Loston. So, yeah, I've got the receipts. And I often tell people when I'm talking about things, I want to make sure that I got the receipts. You feel what I'm saying? The receipts. So hashtag that part, hashtag facts. So I got the receipts, which are the criminal complaints. And there were 2. The original criminal complaint came out about Trevon Loston, and it's a 4-page criminal complaint. And then over the weekend, the DA, it came to fruition that he was looking at charging the 17-year-old girl. So over the weekend, he did end up charging the 17-year-old girl. And now I have her 8-page criminal complaint as well. So we're going to be listening to the facts, the receipts. So, people can talk about, man, this happened, man, that happened, this, that, and the other. But it's like, no. This is what is said to happen. And this is also from the people who were involved and people who were in the car, because in the car that caused that tragic situation where 3 people lost their lives, a mother and her 2 sons, and 2 others were injured. Again, that, and then people saying, hey, if they driving 70, 80 miles an hour, don't stop them. Just, let them go. Y'all shouldn't chase them. And the chase was really brief. It hadn't even been like a minute, and that situation ended up taking place. So I'm going to be talking about that and giving you a chance to give your thoughts and opinions. Now, again, a lot of these charges are the same. And what I mean by that is I'll read the penalties to the counts, like count 1 on her criminal complaint is vehicle operator flee/elude officer, resulting in the death of another. Well, because of the fact that it's 3 people that lost their lives, those 3 charges are the same. And I'll just read the penalties for the original charge and then just replace it with the names of all of the victims of that tragic situation. There's also count 2 in there that says 2nd-degree reckless homicide. There are 3 of the same charges with that, 1 for each person who lost their life. And then there's also knowingly operate a motor vehicle without a valid license causing death. And so some of those charges are the same. So I'll just, again, end up reading those in, and we'll kind of get to the probable cause factor of it. So again, buckle up so you can end up finding out what's going on when we're talking about what's going on in and around our city. I also want to make sure that before the show is over, kind of give an update on the federal FEMA assistance that Milwaukee County and others in Wisconsin can get. There was a lot of information that was disseminated. So it's not a first come, first served basis. It's, you can have a home that didn't have any insurance and still also apply to get some of the money that was okayed by FEMA. So I'm going to give you that information. I think it's very valuable information. We've been talking about it for the last few weeks anyway. And just letting you know how you can apply for these funds and trying to make sure the biggest thing is that you don't procrastinate in filling out these forms or doing the things that you need to do to get this information, because you don't want to be left out and say they didn't even do this and they didn't do that, but you didn't follow their instructions on what they needed to make sure that that could happen. So before I end up going to the first break, I want to end up playing a news clip. So for those of you who may not know what's going on as it results to these criminal complaints that I have here that I will be reading on Truth to Power this afternoon, I want you to hear the news story, and then we'll get ready to take a break. And when I come back, I'll begin reading the criminal complaints here on Truth to Power. So, Rhea, if you could get that clip together. And for those of you who are on YouTube, also we're on Facebook Live. And, of course, the Truth Talk text lines are open, 833-212-1017. So, we're going to play this clip.
In other news tonight, charges for the 17-year-old girl prosecutors say ran a red light during a police chase before slamming into a mother and her two sons, killing them. Dashauna Egerson faces several charges after the Tuesday night crash at 35th and Fleet, including 3 counts of reckless homicide and operating a vehicle without a license causing death. 50-year-old Blair Moo, 15-year-old Carla Cree Moo, and 21-year-old Moonay Ta all died, all family members. Investigators originally thought 19-year-old Trevon Loston was driving that stolen vehicle that police were chasing. Now prosecutors say Egerson admitted to driving the car when it crashed, saying she was held at gunpoint. 12 News' TJ Dysart reports tonight.
That other suspect in this case, 19-year-old Trevon Loston, made his first court appearance this weekend. His bond was set at $50,000. Egerson has yet to make her first court appearance. This is video moments before that deadly crash, killing 3 innocent family members at 35th and Valete. Now, according to the criminal complaint, this all started Tuesday when Egerson sent a text message to Loston asking him to pick her up to buy her alcohol. The 2017 Dodge Journey Loston was driving, police say, had been stolen out of Indiana. The criminal complaint says moments after Loston picked up Egerson, he got tired of driving and let her behind the wheel. When officers attempted to pull the car over for speeding, Egerson sped off, telling them she only fled from police because she found out that the car was stolen. Another passenger in the backseat told police Loston was forcing Egerson to drive at gunpoint.
It is alleged that this defendant told DCE to drive and also told her, quote, "Don't stop," end quote, while he had a firearm in his hand.
Now, according to the criminal complaint, Egerson first told police that she was the passenger in that stolen car, but it wasn't until officers showed her body camera footage of her asking, quote, "Who did I hit? Who the expletive did I hit?" that she admitted to being the driver. In the newsroom, TJ Dysart, WISN 12 News.
All right, that is from WISN 12 News, and we're getting ready to take care of some bills, but when we return, I will begin to read the criminal complaints. First one is 8 pages long for her, and his is 4 pages long. Some of them contain the same information, so I'll highlight the points from his criminal complaint versus her criminal complaint. You're listening to Truth to Power on the award-winning 1017 The Truth inside the American Family Insurance Studio in the heart of downtown at the Avenue. We got to take care of some bills, and we'll be black.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Do I dare even answer this man's call?
Sure. Are you there?
I ain't even answered the damn call yet, man. Bob, keep this on. Bob, listen to me. Keep this on the subject matter, and if you can, we can't take your call, man. You distracted.
Okay, now look. Since you don't listen to Linda about getting married, at least take that thing around your neck to push when something happens.
Watch all your favorite 1017 The Truth shows by subscribing to 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Truth Nation, I'm telling you this right now. Life is better with a home policy from American Family Insurance, and it is so easy today to get a quote. You can get a quote online by simply going to amfam.com, or what I love about it, I like talking to people in person, so you can also find an agent near you while visiting amfam.com. And with American Family Insurance, you always know you feel protected and you are free to enjoy your dreams. And that's from decorating a new nursery to hosting a family reunion in your new backyard to whatever life brings you. American Family Insurance has your back. So always remember to insure carefully and dream fearlessly with American Family Insurance. Visit amfam.com to get a quote or find an agent near you.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They treated me like family.
They're actually people that you can depend on.
They made me feel seen. They really treated me like I was a part of their family, a part of their team.
They ask how you're doing, how you're feeling.
They're just so welcoming and so sweet and kind.
It's like family, caring about another member of the family.
If you've been injured, it costs you nothing to see if Gruber Law Offices can help.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are much closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Celebrate the reigning queens of disco with Disco Divas, running at the Bradley Symphony Center September 26th through the 28th. Principal Pops conductor Byron Stripling will lead the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra and an all-star trio of vocalists in all of your favorite hits from the disco era. Think Donna Summer, Patti LaBelle, Diana Ross, and Chaka Khan, as well as the Bee Gees, Earth, Wind & Fire, and even Michael Jackson. Those silky high strings and thumping bass lines will never sound better as you dance and sing along in your seat to tunes like I Will Survive, We Are Family, I'm Coming Out, and more. So what are you waiting for? Get those sequins out of storage and call the box office now at 414-291-7605 for Disco Divas or visit mso.org.
This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Truth Nation, welcome back to Truth to Power. I am your cousin sub of the day. I'm a club sub, the legendary Home of Blow. I'm in for Kyle Wallace on Today and Tomorrow. I'm about to start reading the criminal complaints for that tragic situation where 3 people lost their lives, a family, and others were injured. And the first criminal complaint that came out was for Trevon L. Loston. If you are immediate family or friends of the defendants who are charged in these particular criminal complaints, or you are immediate family or friends of the victims of these particular criminal complaints, all of the information I am disseminating is already of public record, so I'm not sharing any information that is not already of public record. These criminal complaints do not go against the Good Karma brand. These are, I'm taking full responsibility because of the public records, and the DA sends me these criminal complaints, and they're public. You can get a copy as well. So the first criminal complaint is for Trevon L. Loston, who is the 19-year-old. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, lives in Milwaukee, date of birth 11/6/05. Count 1, possession of a firearm by an adjudicated delinquent. The above-named defendant, on or about Tuesday, September 16, 2025, at or near 3500 West Valete Street in the city of Milwaukee, did possess a firearm, having been adjudicated delinquent for an act committed on or after April 21st, 1994, that if committed by an adult in this state would be a felony. Class G felony, $25,000 fine, 10 years in prison or both. Count 2, bail jumping felony. having been charged with a felony and released from the custody under Chapter 969 of the Wisconsin statute, did intentionally fail to comply with the terms of his bond, Class H felony, $10,000 fine, or 6 years in prison, or both. Count 3, drive or operate a vehicle without owner's consent. He did intentionally drive or operate a vehicle, a white 2017 Dodge Journey, without the consent of the owner, MRW. Class I felony, $10,000 fine, 3.5 years in prison, or both. Probable cause. On September 16, 2025, City of Milwaukee police officers were on patrol in a marked Milwaukee police vehicle in the area of the intersection of West Center Street and North Sherman Boulevard in the city and county of Milwaukee. They observed a 2017 white Dodge Journey with no plates driving at a high rate of speed eastbound on Center from the intersection with North Sherman Boulevard. The officers then conducted a U-turn and proceeded to catch up to the Dodge Journey. The officer states that when he caught up to the white Dodge Journey, he activated his emergency lights and siren to conduct a traffic stop. However, the vehicle did not pull over and instead fled from the attempted traffic through a residential area at speeds of 70 to 80 miles per hour. The chase eventually came to a conclusion when the Dodge Journey went through a red light in the area of 3500 West Valete Street at the intersection of 35th and Valete, and the Dodge Journey struck a gray 2006 Mazda sedan containing 5 occupants. 3 of the occupants were killed as a result of the crash, and 2 were seriously injured. The officer and his partner immediately approached the white Dodge Journey. The vehicle had flipped on and was resting on its side on top of the driver's side of the car, with the passenger side of the car in the air. As the officers approached, they observed a female, which we now know is Dashauna Egerson, climb out of the passenger side window of the car. She was taken into custody by the officer. She later admitted to detectives that she had been driving the Dodge Journey when it fled from police and crashed into the victim's vehicle. After that, the officer approached the vehicle. He removed the sunroof of the vehicle and observed the above-mentioned defendant unconscious, which is Trevon Loston. He was partially in the driver's compartment and partially behind the driver's seat, with one leg over the center console and in the passenger's compartment of the vehicle. The officer observed the defendant to be gripping a black Taurus 9mm handgun in his right hand. The 9mm firearm had a laser attachment and an extended magazine. The officer secured and removed this handgun from the defendant's right hand. Complaint notes that when the defendant was removed from the Dodge Journey, he was found to have a key fob to the Dodge Journey in his pants pocket. Statement of AAI. Additionally, officers located 16-year-old AAI in the rear driver's seat of the fleeing Dodge Journey. AAI confirmed to detectives that Dashauna Egerson was the driver during the chase. She further indicated that the defendant had originally been driving the Dodge Journey when he picked them up, and initially when the 3 of them had been driving around in Milwaukee. AAI indicated that approximately 10 minutes before the fatal fleeing, Dashauna Egerson and the defendant switched seats, and Dashauna Egerson was the one driving when the police attempted to pull them over. AAI indicated that while Dashauna Egerson was fleeing from the police, the defendant told Dashauna to drive and also told her don't stop while he had the firearm in his hand near the middle of his body and pointed in the direction of Dashauna Egerson. Complaint further bases this complaint upon reports and documentation from Elkhart, Indiana Police Department, which shows that the white 2017 Dodge Journey involved in this crash was reported stolen on September 11, 2025 from the residence of victim MRW, who told Elkhart Police Corporal that the Dodge Journey had been taken from his driveway without his permission. MRW believed that the keys may have been inside the vehicle. MRW did not give anyone permission to take his Dodge Journey or to drive his vehicle out of the driveway or to another state. Complaint is further based upon online court records as well as certified court records from Elkhart, Indiana Superior Court, which reflect that on or after August 8, 2022, the above-named defendant was convicted in Elkhart Superior Court case of the felony offense of auto theft of entire auto, in violation of Indiana Code Section 354342A, a 6th-level felony. And that said, adjudication or conviction remains of record and unreversed. This offense would be a felony if committed by an adult in the state of Wisconsin. Upon information and belief, Juvenile jurisdiction over crimes within the state of Indiana ends at age 18. The above-named defendant was 16 at the time of this adjudication. Complaint is further based upon CCAP records which show that the defendant was charged in a Milwaukee County case with the felony offense of adjudicated delinquent in possession of a firearm in violation of the Wisconsin statute section. On August 2nd, 2024, the defendant appeared in intake court on August 5th, 2024, where his bail was set at $1,000 with a condition of bail that he not possess any dangerous weapons or firearms. The defendant was specifically told that a failure to comply with this condition or any bail conditions could result in a charge of bail jumping. Those same CCAP records indicate that on June 20th, 2025, the defendant was discharged from Justice Point for failing to make his scheduled office appointments in violations of the conditions of his bond. On September 3rd, 2025, the defendant failed to appear for his court appearance in the Milwaukee case. According to CCAP records, a bench warrant was issued. However, when the court learned that the defendant was in custody in Indiana, the warrant was later stayed and bail was reinstated. And a calendar call date was set for October 9th, 2025 for the defendant to return to Milwaukee. Thus, the defendant remained released from custody on conditions of bail and established by Wisconsin. Complaint is further based upon the online records in both Elkhart case, and those records show that on August 24th, 2025, the above defendant was arrested in Elkhart, Indiana for fleeing from police in a Honda CR-V, which was reported stolen on August 22nd, 2025 in Milwaukee. A black Glock 26 9mm handgun with an extended magazine was recovered in the black seat of the vehicle. The defendant was charged in Elkhart, Indiana with 2 felony offenses: unlawful carrying of a handgun, prior felony convictions within the last 15 years, a Class 5 felony, and resisting law enforcement using a vehicle, Class 6 felony. He was released on bail in September 2025. Complainants would note that this is the same city and state where the Dodge Journey was stolen from on September 11th, 2025. Coming to the last part of this, I'll get it before this break. Complaint is further based upon the statement of the above-mentioned defendant who admitted to knowing the Dodge Journey was a stolen vehicle. The defendant stated that he did not steal it in Elkhart, Indiana, but he got the stolen 2017 Dodge Journey from the person who did steal it. The defendant stated that he then drove the stolen vehicle from Elkhart, Indiana to Milwaukee. He stated that he believed he got the stolen Dodge Journey approximately 1 week ago. The defendant stated that on September 16, 2025, he received a text message from Dashauna Egerson early in the day to come pick her up and go get some liquor. The defendant stated after picking up Dashauna and AAI, he got tired of driving, so he pulled over and allowed Dashauna to take over driving the stolen Dodge Journey. The defendant stated the chase began as soon as she pulled off and turned the corner, which is consistent with the defendant driving on Sherman Boulevard. The defendant stated that the word we can't say, was driving the fatal fleeing from police, but admitted that he was guiding her on how to drive during the chase. End of complaint for him. We got to get ready to take care of some bills. I'll come back with her criminal complaint on Truth to Power on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am the legendary Home Blow will be black.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent, as an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
This is your Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin Community Impact Moment on 101.7 The Truth.
What was the life change? You know, we all know it happened, and we know things happen, and you have bad kidneys, but what was the life change afterwards?
A couple things. Before they even allow you to get on the list, they make you go through a battery of tests. And, you know, a lot of people don't qualify because they're overweight, or they have high blood pressure or high cholesterol. So all those things are requirements before you can even get approved to be on the list. So I had...
Wait, you got to be approved to be on the list?
Absolutely.
Wow.
It's interesting. There's a professional athlete or former professional athlete I know right now that has kidney disease, and he's on dialysis, and he wants to get on the list, and he's not accepting all the things you have to do, you know, to get on the list. But yeah, so for me, I spent 30 years in the automobile industry. You know, that's 12, 14-hour days, eating whatever somebody brings you to eat, whatever you run out and grab, McDonald's, whatever. It was never salads and, you know.
Yeah, but that was a
water.
Choice, right?
It was a choice. Yeah. But I had to change all of that to even qualify to be on the list. I had to get down to the weight I had to be at. I had to get my phosphorus under control, my potassium under control.
Wait a minute. Even though somebody said they would give you a kidney,
absolutely,
you had to still make yourself eligible?
Absolutely.
Nah, that's okay.
When I mentioned the athlete, his relative actually died, and they wanted to take his organs, and they couldn't because he wasn't qualified. He wasn't on the list. Wow. Yeah, you have to be.
So there are over 100,000 people on that waiting list. So they are very serious.
And how many donors do we have?
And that's the problem. We don't have nearly enough donors.
Wow.
And that's why it's such a critical need. But they are serious about who they're giving that gift of life to, because there are so many people who are literally dying waiting for it.
To make an impact by donating blood in your community, visit versity.org today.
Truth Nation, if you are ever, and I mean if you are ever, or a loved one is ever injured in an accident, I have the team for you. It is Gruber Law Offices. You know exactly what they're about because their results, they truly speak for themselves. You see the billboards, you see the commercial, but more importantly, you know that they are one of the largest law firms in the Midwest who have been serving the state of Wisconsin for 35 plus years. They are a family who is helping family, but they also stand up for victims and they take the burden off your shoulders. You as the client, you focus on healing while they focus on the legal aspect. I'm telling y'all, there's no fee whatsoever to consult with them, to call them, or retain them as a law firm, and you never pay a single penny until they win your case. And what I love about them is they provide the best care, the best service, and the best representation, Truth Nation, because that is their priority. Call them today at 414-276-6666 or visit them at gruber-law.com. It's one call, that's all, with Gruber Law Offices.
Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Nazir Spencer. The Green Bay Packers are now 2-1 after the Cleveland Browns upset them in a close defensive matchup. Coach Matt LaFleur on the loss.
One thing that we have to get corrected is, when you have 14 penalties in a game, it's going to be tough to overcome that.
The Packers and Micah Parsons now head to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Despite the loss to the Cardinals, the Brewers clinched the NL Central due to the club's loss. Reese Hoskins on the clinch.
That's what this organization continues to do. Nobody thought we would win, and here we are again pouring champagne and beer on each other.
The crew heads to San Diego for a 3-game series against the Padres. First pitch is tonight at 8:40. Badger volleyball just keeps on winning, 6 in a row to be exact. They beat number 15 Florida 5-1 on Sunday. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
It is Truth to Power on 101.7 The Truth app, and streaming live on 101.7 The Truth on YouTube.
The Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra is black for the 2025-2026 season as Principal Pops conductor Byron Stripling opens the season with Disco Divas. Now, when we're talking about Disco Divas, you're talking about like Gloria Gaynor, you're talking about Donna Summers, you're talking about Cheryl Lynn. Of course, now is your chance to win a pair of Disco Diva tickets live at the Bradley Symphony Center this Saturday, September 27th. Call right now, 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. Be lucky caller number 7 right now to win these tickets. That's 833-212-1017 to win tickets to see Disco Divas. Diana Ross, the boss, all of that great music that had you up there like, hey, this is my jam. Again, caller number 7 right now, 833-212-1017. I'm black. And because of, again, the length of these criminal complaints, we'll try to take your calls and get your truth on how you feel about this now that you have all of the information. So now I'm going right into Dashauna C. Egerson's criminal complaint. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, date of birth 1/14/08, count 1. And now remember, on those that have the same charge, I'm just going to say that this will be for the mother and her 2 sons. Count 1, vehicle operator flee/elude officer resulting in the death of another on or about Tuesday, September 16th, 2025, from the area of 2700 North 36th Street to the area of 3500 West Valete in the city of Milwaukee while operating a motor vehicle on a highway after having received a visual or audible signal from a traffic officer, federal law enforcement officer, or marked or unmarked police vehicle that the operator knew or reasonably should have known was being operated by a law enforcement officer, did knowingly flee or attempt to elude an officer by increasing the speed of the vehicle in an attempt to flee, resulting in the death of the mother, Moo, and 2 sons and a mother, because I'm not going to disrespect their names because I'm not going to be able to pronounce them or enunciate them correctly. So the mother who lost her life and her 2 sons and 2 other people that were injured in the vehicle. Class D felony, the defendant may be fined not more than $100,000 or in prison, not more than 25 years or both. Also a 5-year penalty enhancer and 2 years and 6 months of revocation. There are 3 charges of that. All right, so count 2, second-degree reckless homicide on or about Tuesday, September 16th, 2025, at or near 3500 West Valete Street in the city of Milwaukee, did recklessly cause the death of another human being, a family mother and her 2 sons. Upon conviction for this offense, a Class D felony, $100,000 fine, 25 years in prison, or both. Again, count 3 is a knowingly operating motor vehicle without a valid license causing death. Did operate a motor vehicle on a highway knowing that she did not possess a valid operator's license in the course of the violation. She caused the death of a mother and 2 sons, Class H felony, $10,000 fine, 6 years in prison or both, and license could be revocated for up to 6 months. Again, these other counts just talk about the actual victims of the crash, the vehicle operated flee or elude. There's more charges of that. Count 5, second-degree reckless homicide. She did recklessly cause the death of 3 human beings, the mom and 2 sons, Class D felony, $100,000 fine, 25 years in prison or both. Again, now we go to probable cause because all of these charges are replicated for each individual family member or person that was hurt in the car. On September 16th, 2025, City of Milwaukee police officers were on a patrol in a marked vehicle, and that's when they spotted the 2017 white Dodge Journey with no plates driving at a high rate of speed. However, the 2017 Dodge Journey did not stop. Instead, the Dodge Journey increased its speed and traveled southbound on 36th Street towards Wright Street. At the intersection of 36th and Wright, the Dodge Journey disregarded the stop sign and turned left to head eastbound on Wright Street towards North 35th Street. At the intersection of Wright and 35th Street, the Dodge Journey disregarded another stop sign and turned to head southbound on 35th Street. Once on 35th Street, the Dodge Journey increased its speed again in the area of 35th and Garfield. The Journey traveled in the oncoming traffic lanes. It again traveled in the oncoming traffic lanes in the area of 35th and Brown. The Dodge Journey disregarded a red stoplight at 35th and Galena, and then again in the area of 3500 West Valete, which is the intersection of 35th and Valete. When the fleeing Dodge Journey disregarded the red stoplight at 35th and Valete, it struck a gray 2006 Mazda sedan, which was traveling lawfully westbound on Valete Street through a green light. The Dodge Journey struck the victim's Mazda at a high rate of speed in the area of 3500 West Valete. causing immense damage to both the Mazda and the people inside. The total length of the chase was approximately 1.39 miles and was entirely in the city and county of Milwaukee. The chase reached speeds of 70 to 80 miles per hour. The officer and his partner immediately approached the white Dodge Journey. The vehicle had flipped on its side, which you heard about in the first criminal complaint for Trevon Loston. There were additional two people in the Dodge Journey, Trevon Loston and 16-year-old AAI, who was trapped in the black seat of the Journey and required surgery for injuries she suffered during the crash. While officers were attempting to pull people out of both sides and both vehicles to render aid, the officer remained with the above-mentioned defendant, Dashauna, who suddenly yelled out, "Who did I hit?" and then, "Who the did I hit?" However, shortly after these two outbursts, the defendant told the officer that she had been a passenger and that Loston had been driving. Complaint further states that numerous Milwaukee police and fire department personnel engaged in attempts to render first aid to the 5 passengers in the victim Mazda that had been struck by the Journey. Complainant states that the following was the location of each of the 5 victims and their resulting injuries. The driver, died as a result of his injuries. An autopsy performed by Dr. Doug Kelly of the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner determined that he had suffered numerous blunt force injuries of the head, chest, and abdomen, including hemorrhages to the brain, lacerations of the lung, liver, and spleen. These injuries caused the victim's death and are consistent with a vehicular collision. The other deceased, the front passenger, died as a result of his injuries. An autopsy performed by Dr. Doug Kelly of the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office determined that he had suffered numerous blunt force injuries of the head, chest, and abdomen, including contusions to the brain and the lung and lacerations to the liver and spleen. These injuries caused the victim's death and are consistent with a vehicular collision. The mom, a rear passenger, died as a result of her injuries. An autopsy performed determined that she had suffered numerous blunt force injuries of the head, chest, and abdomen, including compression of the cervical spinal cord, contusions to the lungs, and lacerations to the liver. These injuries caused the victim's death and are consistent with a vehicular collision. JPP, a 12-year-old rear passenger, is still alive but was unconscious and had to be intubated. JPP suffered blunt force trauma to the head and body. EP, a rear passenger, is also still alive and had to be heavily sedated. EP suffered broken bones and a laceration to the left hand. Complaint is further based upon the statement of Milwaukee police. The officers assigned to the crash reconstruction unit of the Milwaukee Police Department, who is trained and experienced in downloading airbag control modules, which record the speed of vehicles in the seconds before the crash that deployed the airbags of the vehicle. The loaded data says at 5 seconds before the crash, the vehicle was traveling 66 miles per hour. 3.5 seconds, it was 62 miles per hour. 3.4 seconds before the crash, 62 miles per hour. 2.9 seconds before, 62 miles per hour. At 0.5 seconds before the crash, the Journey is traveling 70 miles per hour. At this moment, the accelerator is at 98 to 99%. Try to catch this so we can have some discussion on it. The statement of AAI is saying she was in the rear passenger seat of the fleeing Dodge Journey, and confirmed to detectives that the above-mentioned defendant was the driver. She further indicated that Trevon Loston had originally been driving the Dodge Journey when he picked him up. AAI indicated that while the defendant was fleeing from police, Loston told the defendant to drive and also told her don't stop while he had a firearm in his hand near the middle of his body. Statement of Loston, he received a text message, which I read in the other complaint, saying that she wanted him to pick her up. Statement of the defendant, further based upon the statement of the above-mentioned defendant to detectives, as noted above, after her original outburst, the defendant had told officers and detectives that Loston was the driver. During these interviews, she at times was agitated and combative, and she did say, after being shown the body camera, "Who did I hit?" the defendant's demeanor drastically changed. Eventually, after the detectives explained that her description of who was driving is inconsistent with the manner in which the bodies were found, as well as her own prior statements. So, yeah, she did that. We got to get ready to take care of our bills right now. Truth Talk text lines. When we come back, I want to get your thoughts and opinions, because, you hear a million stories, but now you get to hear the receipts that were on the charges that they're all officially charged with. We got to take care of some bills. We'll be black, and our winner, we got to congratulate. What is that? Daffy? Affy, Caffy like coffee. Kathy like Kathy, 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 congratulations. You are our winner on winning the Disco Divas giveaway. So I hope you got your little shiny shoes, and I hope you got you a disco dress so you can look like a disco ball as you go and enjoy. So stay tuned to The Truth today for your chance to win. For more information about the Disco Divas show, visit mso.org/disco. Congratulations, Kathy. I love the nightlife. I like the boogie. We'll be black.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. Coming with straight truth.
Be careful of the decisions that you make and the company that you keep, because that is going to determine a certain consequence. So you don't have to wait to go to prison, or you don't have to wait to figure it out what the consequences may be. All you got to do is look at your decision making and who you allow in your space. If they making wild decisions, wild things gonna happen. But you don't get to choose what wild things are gonna happen.
Catch the Tory Lowe Show every weekday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
What up, Truth Nation? It's Kyle Wallace here for Steinhoffels. In September, it's Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and the great people at Steinhoffels are doing something really great with Special Spaces Wisconsin. All you have to do is stop by Steinhoffels this month and test rest any mattress. When you do, you'll get a $20 restaurant gift card, so dinner is on them, and Steinhoffels will also donate $20 to Special Spaces Wisconsin. They are an amazing charity that creates dream bedrooms for kids with cancer. So head to Steinhoffels this September and take a test rest and enjoy a night out and help make a child's dream bedroom come true with Steinhoffels. Truth Nation is one call, that's all, with Gruber Law Offices. If you or a loved one is ever injured in an accident, do not hesitate to make one call, that's all, because y'all already know Gruber Law Offices will take care of the rest. When I got into a car accident, I got hit from behind. I made one call, that's all, to Gruber Law Offices, and they took great care of me, literally, from my back hurting, me going to physical therapy, me not having to worry about anything, to me getting my car fixed, and also me getting the money I deserve. They worked with me. They helped me get the money I deserve, and I want you to work with them so they can help you get the money you deserve, because I understand how traumatizing it can be to get into a car accident. So being able to let them handle all the legal stuff while you can focus on healing, that's why you get a team like Gruber Law Offices. So you can visit them today at gruber-law.com. That is gruber-law.com, or simply call them at 414-276-6666. And always remember, when you make one call, that's all, you never pay a single penny until you win your case. It's one call, that's all, with Gruber Law Offices.
Hey, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. Build a customized renter's policy with American Family Insurance so you can protect your tandem bike on the go. Thief! Oh, he is struggling with that two-seater. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Some exclusions may apply. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Here's a dose of reality. Driving under the influence of prescription painkillers is just as illegal and just as deadly as driving drunk. In fact, there are nearly 2,000 drug-related crashes every year in Wisconsin. Help prevent drug driving, and let's achieve zero preventable deaths on Wisconsin roadways. Driving on pills kills. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Departments of Health Services, Transportation, and Justice.
Tracy, going back to the process, and as it relates specifically to the partnership that Old National Bank has with Housing Resource, what does the process consist of when coming through this program?
You know, it's a referral process. We work with clients that first-time homeowners that may not have the counseling that they need. They may not have the equity, the down payment that they need. So we refer them to our partners like HRI or Housing Resources, Inc., because we recognize that those organizations, they have the resources. They have the tutorial documentation and all of those things that are necessary for first-time homeowners that don't know the process, may not know the system, may not know what's required for home ownership. So working with Housing Resources, Inc. and other partnerships that we have like through WIDA has been very, very advantageous, not only for us, but also the organizations, but also for the community.
You are listening to Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
I'm black. I am your cousin sub of the day. I'm a club sub, the legendary Home Blow, sponsored by Cousin Subs. Holding it down for Kyle Wallace, of course, today and tomorrow. After, getting the information and the details from that criminal complaint, what is your thoughts? What's your truth on that? 877-833-212-1017. I'm moving numbers around. 833-212-1017. What is your thoughts? What is your thoughts on that? But let me tell you where I'm at. Again, the argument, the debate continues to happen of to chase or not to chase. And these fools was driving, doing 70, 80 miles an hour without the police chasing them, which is what made law enforcement bust a U-turn to go and get these reckless drivers. And to know that a lot of times that these people are driving in stolen cars, and oftentimes they don't even have a license. Oftentimes when you hear people say that their revocated license, they didn't even have a license suspended. They didn't even have actual license, so they didn't have no valid license. And so my thing is, we want law enforcement to keep us safe. We want law enforcement to be able to do their job. But now the people who are driving these cars need to do their job. And when law enforcement pulls you over, when they turn on those lights, you know what they are. Instead of being reckless and ignorant and still just going to try to drive and then drive reckless and drive on the wrong side of the street, endangering other people. I need more people to be upset at some of these reckless drivers than trying to blame law enforcement. You're trying to blame law enforcement for something that if they weren't doing, you'd be like, man, they need to do something about these fools out here, man. They almost hit me. They almost did this. They almost did that. So which one is it? Which one is it? Do you want law enforcement to be able to do their job? And we need to be more upset and getting at the people who are driving those vehicles and the adults that may be in charge of some of those vehicles or know who the hell they are, instead of always saying this is why they shouldn't chase them. Because I guarantee you, if you found out that your mother or somebody that immediate to you was murdered and they end up driving and they say, okay, that is the suspect, that is the vehicle. Now that person decides to speed off and drive away. So you're saying, hey, y'all can get him at a later time. No. How about no? How about pull them over? You get what I'm saying? And again, charge them with the deaths like these people have been charged with those deaths. We have Marlon on the Truth Talk text lines, 833-212-1017. Great afternoon, Marlon. I love you. I appreciate you. You heard the criminal complaint. What's your truth?
You kind of took the words right out of my mouth. I think too often we blame the police for chasing people, and we don't hold the standard to the people who are running. We don't talk about the criminals who run. And we say, well, let them run. But they're doing 70, 80 miles an hour down Valete. If you watch the video, regardless if somebody was following or not, they weren't going to be able to stop at that light. If you're doing 70, 80 miles an hour prior to the police and you pick up, even if you do 50 or 60, I saw a young man not being chased by the police at all, fly through, he was on 36, he was coming up Wisconsin and ended up trying to fly through the intersection, hit a car. The car spun around, almost ended up in Marquette's football field there. He gets out the car. he's all bleeding and talking about, hey, these MFers don't know how to drive around here. You were doing 85 miles an hour down a city street, sir.
Right.
So the problem is not necessarily the police, because the police don't stop. They don't stop. I mean, they don't stop all crimes. You know, they can try to curtail it, but they don't stop crimes. The problem is the people who's doing it, and we need to hold them to a standard. We need to stop saying, "Well, it's the police fault." I kind of see it, but what about the people who's actually doing the driving? They are the ones who's doing this. We need, and like you said before, these are people who's going to somebody's house. They're driving people's cars. We know who we know who's driving these cars. We know these cars. We're not speaking up, and we're just allowing it to happen. So it's us as a community who need to step up. We need to stop pointing to all these other communities talking about how well they're doing stuff, because we're not doing it. So we need to step up and do it ourselves and get these people off the street.
Absolutely. And I agree. Like I say, too many times they want to blame other people instead of making the criminals have to take accountability for their actions. 70 miles per hour on impact. They were going 70 miles per hour on impact. And you wonder why a family lost their life. 70 miles per hour. And I just want to say that I drive through my city daily. And I want to say at least 2 to 3 times a week, I have to be defensively driving to avoid the reckless drivers that are driving on the wrong side of the street. They weren't being chased, that are making bad turns. And that's why all of these bump outs, it's like, okay, good. They can't get on the side of me no more and just, swerving and swerving and swerving. This stuff has to stop, and we have to make sure that we don't keep giving credit to people who are out here committing criminal acts, recklessly driving. That it's like, soon as you think that policy changes, what do you think that's going to happen in our city streets? What do you think that's going to tell them? They already say, oh, I didn't think y'all could chase us. But you driving reckless. You don't think they can chase you. So now what the hell going to happen? What's next? We just waiting on ourselves to get caught up and die because of these ignorant people who are driving reckless daily in our city, police chase or not. And let's think about law enforcement. Some people act like they get a thrill out of it. They putting their lives at risk too. They putting their lives at risk because oftentimes a lot of people don't even respect the lights. When they see the lights, when they see the sirens come on, hear them, and they see the red and blue lights, they don't even respect that. So I'm just saying we got to make sure we aim our frustration and angers at the right people and not just looking at law enforcement like, y'all shouldn't have. Now, if it was somebody that killed your mother or your father or your son or daughter and they were trying to catch them and they were trying to get away, you're going to want them to get them. You ain't going to want to let them get away. Oh, y'all just give them some more time. Y'all catch them at another time. No, you want justice now. Before I get out of here, I want to make sure that I read Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley. He shares update on federal funding assistance and some of the myths that were out here. He just wanted to kind of like break the misconceptions. First, the money is not being distributed on a first-come, first-served basis. Any eligible individuals in Milwaukee County whose uninsured home or property was damaged in the August floods will receive assistance. To apply for FEMA individual assistance, visit disasterassistance.gov or call 800-621-3362. That's 800-621-3362, or go to the disasterassistance.gov and get the information. The deadline to apply for FEMA individual assistance is November 12, 2025. Also, there's been confusing reports regarding the reported $29.8 million in approved federal funding. That number is based on the findings from FEMA's preliminary damage assessment reported in Governor Evers' request, which was a sample to represent the total damage to the region. This does not mean that FEMA funding for individuals is capped at $29.8 million. So, yeah, it's more information, but I just wanted to make sure you got that information. And biggest thing, had that name, that number, disasterassistance.gov, 800-621-3362. If nobody has told you they love you today, I want to let you know that I love you. Please be safe. Tori Lowe Show, the award-winning Tori Lowe Show is up next. Love you, babes. Talk to my agent. We out of here.
Hey, Truth fam. This is your girl, Melanie Ricks, and I want to remind you to tune into Nothing But the Truth digital show with me, Melanie Ricks, presented by Visit Milwaukee. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m., a new episode drops on the 1017 The Truth YouTube page. And since it is on YouTube, I hold nothing back. I give you all my hot takes on celebrity gossip and give you the tea on relationships that you don't want to miss. Subscribe to 1017 The Truth on YouTube.